Welcome to the CrossFit Max podcast.
Welcome back, beautiful people, and we hope you're having a fantastic day. A little bit of a different intro. I wanted to take this moment to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning into this episode or others that you may have listened to. We are coming up nearly on 1 year of podcasting where we have dropped an episode every single Wednesday, which is crazy. And I really do appreciate all of you who tune in and listen. And if you want this podcast to grow, the best thing you can do for us is share it with one of your friends, one of your family members, a colleague, anyone that you think can get good value. Please don't be shy to share it with someone. All right, let's get into today's episode. 3, 2, 1, let's go. What's up, fam? All right, Susie's getting one more yawn in.
Hi, everybody.
There we go. All right.
I'm ready.
Well, let's do this. Susie, how are you feeling today, my love?
So good.
It's so good. Can you guys tell how honest she's being right now?
If I say it enough times, it'll be true.
Susie, you are 28
8.
weeks pregnant.
Yes.
We are in the 3rd trimester, folks.
We're in the home stretch, baby.
Yeah. So everything Susie does is so easy peasy, right?
Yeah, especially putting on socks,
Right.
going upstairs.
Yeah. Right before this episode started, Susie went to the washroom and we have 8 steps to go down and 8 steps to come up.
It's like a full flight of stairs.
I know, but 4 and maybe 4, maybe 5 and 3.
Are you kidding me? There's easily 15 stairs.
15. Should we cut this and go count?
Yes, pause it. I'm serious.
Ready? All right, here we go. I'm going to go count. 12.
There are 12 stairs, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon said 8. I said 15. I'm closer. I win.
Yes. Of course, you're always right, my love. But regardless, 12 steps threw you completely out of breath.
You try carrying a bowling ball around with you all day.
Absolutely.
Also,
you're killing it.
just fun information for the podcast, I have severely low iron.
Yes, you do.
So that explains a little bit why I am extremely fatigued.
But you did pass your glucose test. So you're not diabetic.
No diabetes for me.
Woohoo.
Yay, yay, yay. Thank God, because all I want to eat is cereal.
Anyways, just to give you guys an idea of how Susie is feeling today.
Yeah,
because I know you
pregnancy
guys
is
want
awesome.
this
I love
lovely
it.
update.
It's a beautiful gift. Life is just amazing.
Let's dive into our real banter topic of the day. We have officially launched the Max Fit course, Ultimate Team Race. Wow.
That's a mouthful.
Tell them what it is, babe,
We
if you haven't seen it yet.
are hosting an event at CrossFit Max on April 27th
In the morning.
in the morning. And the event is in teams of 3.
Yep.
And it is what we are calling a fitness race.
Hell yeah.
So it is a little bit inspired by this upcoming trend in the fitness space, which is called High Rocks. Some of you may have heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, no big deal. But the idea is that it is incorporating some movements that we see in CrossFit.
Yep.
With
Such as?
running.
Yes.
I just wanted to finish my sentence.
Go on.
But yeah, anyways.
Things that we see in CrossFit, dumbbell farmer carries.
Yeah, you start saying the movements because
Row, ski, bike, burpees,
wall balls,
wall balls.
plate push.
We got the plate push here as well. So things that we see in CrossFit, but are also elements in the endurance world, such as running.
Yes. So the race is open to people who have no CrossFit experience. There's no high skill CrossFit movements. There's no gymnastics or barbell lifts or anything like that. It's really, the goal is an endurance event done in your team. Anyways, the actual purpose of the event is to sort of dabble into this sort of endurance hybrid athlete, CrossFit and running and all of that sort of merging into one. We have been putting a little bit more of focus on our endurance skills here at CrossFit Max,
Absolutely.
including our free run club that happens on Sunday mornings.
Oh, yeah. We've been having fun with those.
So we were like, let's host a really cool event.
Let's host our own event.
Let's give our community a taste of this upcoming trend in the fitness space.
It's getting very popular.
Becoming really popular, and CrossFit athletes tend to do quite well in this sort of high rocks, this new fitness trend. So we're throwing our own version.
Yep.
And at the same time,
yep, 2-part event. Part 1 is the fitness race, the Max Fit course.
Using this as an opportunity to do a little bit of fundraising for the gym.
Hell yeah.
So what we've decided is that we want to reinvest back in our gym and get some new gear, new equipment.
Yeah.
And the goal is to get some help purchasing said equipment.
Yeah.
So what we've done is, instead of selling just normal tickets for this event and the gym making like a little profit or whatever, like we normally do when we have events, we have decided to have a GoFundMe where there is no set ticket price, and teams of 3 are welcome to pay whatever they want to participate.
Yep.
And for every $1 that someone donates, CrossFit Max / Brandon and I will match.
Yeah. So we put up some objectives on our GoFundMe, and we've listed exactly what we're going to reinvest for our equipment. And yeah, so we have some targets. I mean, it's crazy. We've had just a few donations already, and people are being super generous.
Really generous.
But I think it's been, since we've opened up this business, through the podcast, through our community group, through talking with our members, we've always had this open communication, and we've always been super transparent with our members on the business side of things. We've even helped other CrossFit gyms in terms of their openings. And yeah, we've just been an open book for the entire process. When we started this gym, we had a very base of equipment. We had 0 members, so we had to decide
how much to buy of what.
Exactly. So we had to create a base, and I think the equipment that we've had so far, although we've added some equipment along the way,
it has served us very well.
It has served us well, but I think it's time for the second evolution of CrossFit Max.
I agree.
Our classes are starting to get wait lists on them, and although we want to bring up the class size just a notch, just a bit, because we do have the size to bring it up a little bit. We don't necessarily want to have packed, like over-packed classes, but we do want to bring it up just a notch. And in order to do that, we do need to get a little bit more equipment. And there's some new equipment that I would love for our members to be dabbling with, because there are some really cool pieces of equipment that we could get, such as
the Echo bikes?
The Rogue Echo bikes.
Yeah.
That's something that I would love for our gym to have. They're a solid piece of equipment from Rogue. It is definitely something that was hard to not get when we originally opened the gym.
Yes, we really had to make a decision between which cardio machines we wanted to start out with, and unfortunately the Echo bike didn't make the cut.
Unfortunately not. So in terms of like full body, in terms of like muscle endurance, cardiovascular, it is such an unreal machine to get our members the results that they're looking for.
Yes.
So I'd really, really love to invest in them. And of course, you can't just get one, because we do host group training
classes,
here.
Yes.
Can't just get one, so we got to get a few of them. So that is the main objective, is to raise funds for that. We could really put that into the program, open up the class size a little bit more. We want to also make an extension on our rig, which now our rig is starting to become smaller. We have 3 squat racks on it, but the pull-up stations are starting to get a little bit crowded now when we have classes of 12 people. So we want to extend it by essentially
10 feet.
Yeah, 10 feet. If you guys know what our pull-up rig looks like, we have a short bar that is 4 feet long, which is where the squat rack goes. And then there's a long bar that is 6 feet long, and that just adds like another big part of the gymnastics, adds some rings hanging from the top. So we want to extend it by another 10 feet. So that's the second tier if we hit on our donations. The other tier we want to do is, now if we get those things, which would be incredible already if we were able to hit that, The third tier would be to add another bike, row, and ski, and this would really allow us to open up the class size completely to from 12, let's say, to 15 people, and that would be kind of the cap that I think we would use moving forward, 15 people per class.
Because we still want to maintain the same quality of coaching that we are currently giving.
Yeah. So that would get us another one of each erg. So then we would have 5 echo bikes. We'd have 5 bike ergs, 5 row ergs, and 5 ski ergs. And then the last tier would be just getting some more barbells, and some bumper plates, clips, obviously, and a couple more wall balls as well, because again, we do want to open up the size. And although we just did
accommodate our peeps,
although we did just get a couple more wall balls, we are still filling up for the wall ball section. So,
and everyone's getting so strong now.
Yeah, everybody wants the 14-pound for the ladies and the 20-pound for the boys,
which is a good thing.
Yeah. An amazing thing. So, and in terms of like the barbells, we're starting to get more guys. Before it was like you'd have 1, 2, maybe if we're pushing it 3 guys, but we just had the noon class that you coached, and we were 6 guys. Sorry, not the noon class, the 9 a.m. class that I coached. We had 6 guys in that class.
Yep, busy.
So we want to get some more barbells as well. The ladies also. So there's some cool things in the works also that we haven't said yet, but we're looking at.
There are some things we can't tell them yet.
Can't tell them yet, exactly. But although, we are requesting donations for this, it is something that I think allows our members to feel proud of, feel excited about. We will invest every dollar that they are going to put into this. So it's not going to our pockets. It's going straight to equipment to benefit them. And also we're going to match every single dollar that they raise. So it's cool. It's going to be first of all, it's going to be a sick event. We have some sponsors lined up, which I'm super stoked to announce over the next couple of weeks. And the event itself is going to be really cool. It's going to take about 60 minutes, but it's teams of 3, so you're not working the whole time. You're splitting it. So you're going to be working for about, I don't know, maybe 40-ish minutes. So teams of 3, it's going to be an epic event, but also it's going to just bring up the overall gym equipment to, like I said, our second evolution of CrossFit Max, which I'm stoked.
Yeah. Just when they thought we couldn't get more badass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the second evolution. I can't wait for the third, the fourth. We got plans.
I'm sweating.
We got plans, guys. We got plans. But anyway, so a lot of fun things. I really, really hope that a lot of people dive into this challenge as opposed to being too fearful of it, especially just because so many of you guys completed the CrossFit Open and you guys conquered that fear. So I really hope that people create some really fun teams. It's meant to be a fun event.
As always, for us, yes, it's a race. Yes, it's a competition vibe, but it's always about participating in the community and getting out of your comfort zone. And those are the priorities.
Yeah, and you're going to get a hell of a good workout out of it.
And if you can't make it and you would like to make a donation, the link will be in the description of this podcast episode.
Absolutely. Don't forget about it. Okay, so banter topic complete. We wanted to talk about a little something different today. We've been talking a lot about the open and the business side of things. We want to switch it back to some health stuff for you guys today.
Tips.
Health and, also some tips. It is the end of March and
spring has
started. Yeah, it's true. Spring started a couple days ago and summer is quickly approaching.
I know, and I'm panicking. We're gonna have a child.
Yeah, this podcast topic is perfect for you, my love.
Shut up.
So we just want to give you guys some tips because right around now is when we start to see people wanting to boost their fitness, whether they want to, let's say, lean out a little bit for summertime, whether they want to lose a little bit of weight because they know that they're going to be wearing less clothes in the summer. They might be going to beaches.
They're dusting off their running shoes.
Exactly. So summer is approaching, and this is kind of the time. We're about 12 weeks out now from summer, and this is kind of the time that people want to set up some health goals and maybe lose a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
So we want to discuss some of the things that you should be mindful of and also give you some tips at the same time. I know I am personally going through this a little bit. I do want to be leaning out a little bit throughout this time to be a little bit leaner over the summer.
Same.
I've been working on this the last few weeks ever since we got back from Australia, I would say. So I enjoyed vacation. And yeah, so I've been trying personally to focus on losing a little bit of weight, leaning out.
You're looking great, by the way.
Thank you,
In
my
case
love.
I haven't told you recently.
Appreciate that. So let's dive into it. First thing to note, team. Anytime we're talking about weight loss, energy is going to be the most important. And what do I mean by energy? I mean calories in and calories out. So when you want to lose some weight, you got to know how much you're eating throughout the day and how much you're moving. And if you want to lose a little bit of weight, then you have to play with that balance. You either need to move a little bit more and eat the same amount of food, or you need to move the exact same amount that you're moving on a day-to-day basis or on a week-to-week basis, and you need to start to eat a little bit less. So that's number one. That is by far the most important things.
There's no way around that.
There's no way around it. It's
Yeah.
not your hormones that's stopping you from losing weight. It's the energy that you're either consuming or you're putting out into the world. Obviously, the only exception, I mean, there's some exceptions, but the main exception would be pregnancy. So Susie's not losing any weight over this next 12 weeks, I promise you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reminder.
If anything, baby, you're going to get bigger every week. And
Yes.
I love it.
But
My
also,
little baby boy
just
needs to grow.
quick, tiny aside, because I was feeling guilty about my complaining earlier. I am also very grateful to be pregnant, and I recognize that this is a gift. Just in case it sounded a little too whiny,
Oh, no.
I know that other people would kill to be in my position, and I'm so lucky to have a healthy baby in my belly. So just wanted to put that out on the podcast.
Absolutely. My little baby boy is healthy and growing, and he needs to grow even more. More
Yes.
protein for you.
And more red meat too, because I need more iron.
True, you are low in iron. But anyways, so that is number one. Number two is, I would say it is really, really important that you don't hit this so hard, so quick.
This is a long game, slow burn.
Slow burn. Summer is coming soon, but you still got a lot of time until you're maybe on the beach or you're maybe wanting.
Everybody stay calm. Nobody
Yeah.
panic. You have time.
You have the time and you want the time. You don't necessarily want to be dropping weight super quick. So that being said, along this journey, you should be making slight changes. So if you're hearing a bunch of things throughout this podcast and you're like, yeah, I have to do everything that Coach B and Susie say, that is absolutely not what we are intending. We are going to give you guys tips along the way that you should start being mindful throughout your weeks.
And pick what resonates with you for what you need. We're not saying you need to lose weight, summer's coming. We're saying if you would like to lose weight because summer is coming, it tends to be the type of thought process that a lot of people have. We're giving tips on that.
Yeah.
We're not saying you need to.
Absolutely not.
We're just speaking to the people who would like to and need a little guidance.
Absolutely. We can't speak to every single person on this podcast, but
I know, just making sure that we're covering our bases here.
yeah. So again, going back to our point before, one thing you could do is absolutely not change anything that you're eating, and you can increase your activity level a little bit. And I don't mean like you need to start working out harder, more often, although that could be something that you question, which we'll cover
Time
next
to upgrade
topic.
your membership, perhaps.
But we'll talk about that next. But number one is for that purpose is, I would say, maybe not number one because we said number one and number two, but you know what I mean. What you should be maybe focusing on is, hey, the weather is getting nicer outside.
Yes.
Walking is probably the most underrated health or weight loss, fitness, whatever you want to call it. It's the most underrated activity that people can do.
Right.
So increasing your step count, getting outside, and just going for a nice walk. We're talking 15,
So good.
15 minutes as a starting point, and if you want to up it a little bit for up to 30 minutes, that would be so good. And you would be
There are
surprised.
so many benefits.
You would be surprised how much extra calories you would be burning at the end of the day if you decided to go for a 30-minute walk in the middle of your day. Not just that, but you would also feel so good about it because you would get fresh air, you would get more vitamin D now that we don't have jackets and mittens and hats and all these clothes on. So going for a nice gentle walk outside, it's low impact. It's not going to affect your training. In fact, it's probably going to help increase your recovery from your working out.
Yeah, for sure.
Just getting outside and going for a walk.
Get the blood flowing, get the body moving.
In terms of just, not even just, hey, I want to lose a little bit of weight, but in terms of just overall health, huge bonus if you could just add some walking throughout your week.
Yeah, and we recognize that that's super challenging when you live in a place like Montreal in the winter. But as it starts to warm up, it's just there's no excuse not to. It's beautiful out.
Yeah, especially as the months go on. Right now, I think it's 6 degrees and sunny outside.
Yeah, I'm looking outside. I'm like, oh, it's nice out there.
That's sweater weather out there, you know. Maybe a light jacket, but getting outside and going, you know, at a starting point, just go for 10-15 minutes. Don't stress about the distance. Don't think you have to go out for a 60-minute walk.
I like to put a podcast on.
Yeah. Hopefully the CrossFit Max podcast.
Maybe you're listening to us on your walk right now. Gold star to you.
Which I love. And yeah, so that's a solid thing that you can do. The other thing is we had we had like a little in-house membership promotion that lasted this weekend where you do consider adding one more day of training. Again, this is dependent on each person. If you're training 5 days a week, then I would highly suggest you do not add an extra day of training. You do not need to have a 6th or let's just say even a 7th day of training. That being said, if you are training twice a week, even 3 times a week, you can definitely bump that up.
Even 4 times a week.
Even 4 times a week.
Bring that up to a 5.
But if your goal is to have aesthetic goals and you want to see serious change in your body, I would say if CrossFit is your only source of activity throughout the week, like you're not doing any sports or, you know, you're not going for the walks that we're talking about.
Right.
I mean, for me, this is my main source of activity, CrossFit. I train it 6 days a week and that is my main source of activity and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But if you are at 3 times per week, you can 100% increase that to 4 times per week.
And you'll see massive benefits.
And you'll see huge benefits. I mean, just think of it. If you're training 3 times per week, roughly, for good numbers here, I know the month isn't as exactly 4 weeks long, but that's 12 training sessions you're hitting.
Right.
If you bump it to 4 times per week, you're now doing 16. That is an additional 4 sessions total. That's almost an entire week's worth of training. You're getting more per month just by coming one more time per week.
That's just 1 extra hour in your week.
That
Do you have 1 hour in your week
huge
to donate to your health?
And I think 4 times per week, you could get some serious gains out of that. Like you will get into the best shape of your life. I like to say this all the time, but you give me 4 hours of training per week and I promise you're going to be in the best shape of your entire life.
Absolutely.
So that is something that you could play around with, is your activity level. That's super important right off the bat. Is if you don't want to change your nutrition and you're at that, let's say 2, 3, or maybe 4 times of physical activity per week, then you need to think, can I add an extra day of training or an extra 2 days? Or if you are already training at the max amount, right? You're at 4 or 5 days of training per week. You can't come to the gym because of commitments anymore, life, whatever. But let's say you're working downtown and you have a break, go for a walk. Go for a 15-minute walk and try to do that 3 times per week, 4 times per week. Eat food and then digest by going for a walk. It's such a huge bonus that you could add to your lifestyle.
Yes.
So that is on the activity level. Let's talk about the nutrition side of things.
Talk about it.
Now, I would strongly encourage you that if you are focusing on the activity side of things, hold off on the nutrition side for just a little bit. Because if you're starting to change your activity, right, then we're tipping the balance here, right? So now if you're not losing any weight and your goal is to lose a little bit of weight, you are balancing the scale to where now You are expending more calories, more energy than you are consuming. So there's no need for the first little bit to change anything on your nutrition side.
Got it.
You've done that for a couple weeks, or your activity level is staying the same. What you're doing for your activity is solid. You're killing it already. Now let's talk about the nutrition. Number one thing, it's important. We talk about this all the time. Protein is king.
Wow, revolutionary.
Right? If you are now going into a deficit, if you are trying to lose weight, it is important that we are not losing muscle. We cannot we cannot lose our muscle tissue. We need this.
The gains must stay.
We need this for life. We need this for health. It's important that we try our best not to start to dive into our muscle tissue. We want to lose body fat. That is our goal.
Right.
So protein is king. You must consume enough protein throughout the day, and you need to consume adequate amount of protein. And if you want, you might even be able to increase it a little bit. The goal is 1 gram per pound of body weight or per pound of desired body weight. So if you're 150 pounds and you want to lose, I don't know, let's say 8 pounds, right? Or maybe you want to lose 10 pounds for nice numbers and you want to get to 140 pounds, you have to consume, or you have to try your very best to consume 140 grams of protein every single day. Or else you will start to lose muscle, which is no bueno. That's not what we want.
No. You're not allowed. You're forbidden.
Not only that, but you'll also start to feel really beat up and under recovered from your workouts.
Which we really don't want.
Absolutely not. Especially you're doing CrossFit. You definitely don't want your muscle tissue to feel sore from your workouts and having a hard time to replenish after you're done that, right? So at the end of the day, we need you to be recovered and still maintaining that muscle tissue. You won't be able to put on, but you'll be able to maintain that amount, and that's what we want.
Okay.
So protein is king. Now, next thing about protein is maybe you want to start looking at leaner protein sources. So
so not all protein is made equal.
Not all protein is unfortunately made equal. If you're an omnivore like we are and you eat meat, which I strongly encourage everyone to do, then you are going to have to find less fatty sources of protein.
What are some examples?
For example, like red meat is typically higher in fat. So like
that's why it's so yummy.
Exactly. So steak, for example, we could also talk about chicken, but steak is very high in fat, which adds more calories. So if you're looking at, I don't know, let's take like a 6-ounce piece of steak. I'm just pulling out numbers here, and let's say it's got 400 calories in it. You could have 100 calories of fat just in that piece of steak and 300 calories from the protein, versus let's say you get like a chicken breast at the same size. You will have almost all of those calories from just protein and less from the fat content.
Gotcha.
So in terms of like ounce to ounce, like if you're looking at the same portion, your lean chicken breast will have much more protein and less fat in it.
Right.
So it'll actually look bigger and it'll actually fill you up, and it'll have more protein in it compared to your same ounce of steak, but it'll have more fat in it. And when you cook, it's going to turn out to be smaller.
Gotcha.
So in terms of that, we definitely want to start leaning. We want to start leaning towards leaner sources of protein.
So like chicken,
like
ground turkey instead of ground beef.
Exactly, yeah. Even if you go into chicken, if you have like chicken thighs, for example, then maybe you might want to switch it to chicken breast.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, chicken thighs are fatty.
Yeah, and also like if you're eating like fattier sources of pork, or let's say even if you just want to start to when you eat your eggs in the morning, if you want to just change out, instead of eating 4 whole eggs in the morning, you want to eat 2 whole eggs, and you want to have egg whites.
Gotcha.
Because the whites is the protein part, the yolk is the fattier part.
Gotcha.
So you can start to make tiny
That's why
little
the yolk
changes.
is the yummiest.
Yes.
Oh.
So you can start to make little changes like that throughout your day, and just try to typically look
Little
for
swaps.
Yeah, or even like yogurt. You can get Greek yogurt that is a little bit higher in fat, and you can get Greek yogurt that's like lower in fat.
Right. And you can just get like the equal amount of protein.
Mm-hmm. So why
Much tastes the same too, guys. Like, come on.
Yeah. Why am I saying that you want to get leaner sources of protein? Is because fat has a lot of calories to it.
Right.
So a little fun fact, when you guys are reading labels, and this is something that often comes up, again, we're going to use hypothetical numbers because I don't actually have any numbers or labels in front of me, but cheese, for example. Cheese is something that people are always like, yeah, there's so much protein in cheese, but it's very marginal source of protein and is very calorically dense with fat in it. And what I mean by that is you'll see something like, oh, it has 5 grams of protein and has 9 grams of fat in it. And you might think, oh, it's only like got a couple more grams of fat in it compared, but 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 calories.
Okay.
1 gram of fat is equal to 9 calories.
Ooh, more than double.
More than double. So if you have a lot of, for example, you take that piece of cheese, right? And you get 4 grams of protein. All right, you're looking at 20 calories coming from that. But if you have 9, what did I say, 9 before?
You said 4 grams.
Oh,
of
5
protein?
grams. Sorry, 5 grams of protein. Then you're looking at 20 calories from protein. Excuse me for the math. And then what did I say before? 9 grams. So 9 times 9 is 81 calories are coming from the fat.
Right. So you can't compare the 5 grams of protein to the 9 grams of fat. You need to compare the 20 calories of protein
versus
to
the
81
calories
of fat.
Yeah. If you look
and
at
now
that,
we're talking like 4 times the amount.
Exactly. So we're talking a lot more calories are coming from fat. So it's just little things like that you want to start to being mindful of your protein sources.
Yeah.
Because protein sources that are higher in fat also will look and be, they'll have more volume, or they'll have less volume to it.
Smaller.
So exactly. So if you're looking again at that like 6-ounce piece of chicken breast, it's going to be much bigger compared to the 6-ounce piece of steak. It's going to be a much smaller piece, but they're both going to be 6 ounces. You're looking at both similar protein quantities, but the fat is different, and then the volume.
The calories is different.
Calories are different. Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
that was a good tip.
Little tip there for you guys, and that's for protein, right? So protein is king, but you might maybe want to start getting leaner sources of protein.
Be a little bit
throughout.
more picky. Read the labels a little bit more. Just to kind of dive into, okay, I'm getting how many grams of protein, but what am I getting along with that?
Exactly. Let's talk about carbohydrates now. So two things on the carbohydrate side of things. Number one is, I'll go into this, is that 1 gram of carbohydrates is also worth 4 calories.
Same as protein.
Exact same as protein. So 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carbohydrates equals 4 calories. 1 gram of fat equals 9. So carbohydrates are the body's preferred energy source. We also will use fat as well. We want to keep protein the same. Protein's got to stay the same. We got to get the exact same amount of protein in every single day, right? We cannot change this. We know this by now. If you want to be 140 pounds, you got to eat 140 grams of protein. Where you can start to change your calories a little bit is, like I said, the fat content and the carbohydrate content. So if right now you're consuming X amount of carbohydrates, calories from carbohydrates, and you need to go into a deficit, right? So you need to be eating a little bit less now, but you're eating also the same amount of fat. Well, maybe what you want to do, since fat is more than 2 times the amount of calories, is maybe you also want to reduce the fat content, but increase the carbohydrate content. This way, you don't feel as hungry at the end of the day because you're going to be able to eat a lot more carbohydrates rather than fat content.
Right.
So little things like being mindful about how many nuts you eat, being mindful about how much oil you're using, being mindful about your cheese content, being mindful about the pieces of meat that you're choosing, right? And this will allow you to reduce your fat content just a bit, because fat is super important, guys. You need to be consuming fat. I'm not saying you need to stop consuming fat. I'm just saying if you want to lose a little bit of weight, it's smart to reduce your fat content and increase your carbohydrate content, so you can be eating a little bit more, again, whole food stuff like fruits, rice. You can have potatoes, right? These are all things that fill you up a lot and also have tons of good micronutrients in them, right? They have tons of vitamins, tons of minerals, electrolytes, all these things that our body need to survive, right? And also, because we're going in some sort of deficit, our body is going to be feeling hungry. So we want to be able to like go through the motions of actually eating, right? Like putting food in your mouth, chewing food, timing of day. Last thing you want to do is be like, darn, like I only had like 2 meals today because I'm trying to lose weight.
And then you're hungry and cranky, and then you eat an entire box of Oreos.
Exactly.
Like, not that that's ever happened to me. It's just I've heard that that might happen.
For sure. And then the other thing on the
this leads right into the next point.
No, not really. But kind of, yes. The other thing I was going to say is vegetables are going to be your friend in this situation. Vegetables and fruits are extremely low in calories, like really, really low. Vegetables more than fruits.
Like a big amount.
You can eat a huge amount of vegetables. Think of, let's say you were to have, I don't know, a massive bowl of broccoli or cucumber. Sure, is that a vegetable or a fruit? Hot debate here.
Okay, well,
but let's say broccoli. Let's say broccoli. You get a huge bowl of broccoli. You're going to be much more full eating that huge bowl of broccoli compared to having like a tablespoon of peanut butter, right? Same calories, right? And if anything, that tablespoon of peanut butter will give you a lot of broccoli. So vegetables are extremely low in calories, extremely rich in nutrients. So our body is going to get a lot of good things from those vegetables.
High in fiber.
High in fiber as well. And also, guys, we're trying to lose a little bit of weight, so your body might start to feel a little bit hungry, but I promise you, if you eat a lot of vegetables, it's definitely going to curb that hunger. And exactly, there's only so much volume of food we can put into our tummy, into our stomach. So eating foods that are low in calories but extremely high in density, like broccoli and vegetables and all that stuff, they're going to be your friends in this situation.
Yeah, it's like you kind of trick your belly into... It's not even tricking, but you fill your belly with all those good things. Yeah. And then it's much easier to stay on track when you're in this sort of deficit mindset where, of course, you're going to be slightly on the hungry side. It's kind of the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing that Susie, I think you were alluding to this, is you were getting to snacking at night or...
No, I was getting to the fiber in the vegetables.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So you take my point.
Okay, sweet.
But say what you were going to say.
Yeah, the other thing is, like, if you don't do this, if you don't focus on making sure you're getting more whole foods. So everything we've named so far are typically whole foods, foods that come from nature. These foods are very filling. They are relatively low in calories. But when we start to come away and eat more like processed foods, like we eat bread or we eat pasta or we eat cereal if we eat any sort of bars, like snack bars, like all of these things start to add up in calories quite a bit, which there's nothing wrong with that, guys, because again, the calorie equation is the most important thing. So you could have a breakfast bar. I would just prefer eating a massive bowl of
oatmeal and fruits and
rather than eating a breakfast bar. You look at some of those breakfast bars. Actually, I was talking to Jason about this earlier, and he was talking about the midday square.
Right.
Love the midday squares. They're like a little treat. They're getting pretty popular here, but that one midday square is 160 calories. It's a lot of calories for 2 bites.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like barely a 2-bite item.
That, for some people, that's 10% of your caloric consumption for the entire day, or roughly 10%. And if you're trying to lose weight, eating that little midday square, that's not going to fill you up. That's just going to make you want to eat more, and you've just consumed, boom, 10% of your calories in the 2 to 3 bites that you just had.
Yes.
Versus
They're so sneaky.
versus having like a big bowl of fruits, like blueberries, strawberries, melons in there. Like, you could have a massive bowl of fruits for the exact same amount of calories. So when you start to go on the processed side, just be mindful, because those calories will add up very quickly.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I was going to say is that if you don't fill yourself up with these whole foods that take longer to prepare, longer to eat, longer to chew, longer for our digestive system to work, then you might get to the end of your day feeling like you just want to raid your pantry. Which it's hard, because you're trying to lose weight. Our bodies do not like to be in deficits. Our systems were not meant to lose weight. Our systems are meant to match the calories and the energy that we put in throughout the day.
Correct.
And because of society right now, we have food at incredible amount of access. We can click a couple buttons on our phone, and we're gonna have any food we want delivered to our front door.
Dangerous.
So very dangerous, right? And this is why the average person is unfortunately overweight.
Over-consuming.
Right? They're over-consuming, and they're not moving enough.
Right.
But that being said, going back to what I was saying, is our bodies do not like to lose weight. Our bodies do not like to be in deficit. So it's not a very comfortable, good feeling in our system.
Right.
Our body wants to get out of that state. So by, like you said before, tricking your system by eating foods that take longer to eat, a massive bowl of broccoli. Like, no one finishes a massive bowl of broccoli and thinks, wow, you know what? I could go for another one. You're like, I'm happy this bowl of broccoli is done, and I'm feeling full. I'm feeling satisfied right now, right? Eating chicken and steak or eggs or Greek yogurt, like, these things are extremely filling. A protein shake. All these types of foods are very filling. Protein is very filling on our system.
Yes.
Usually it takes longer for us to consume as well. So you want to trick your body, and you want to fill those hunger cues with actually eating food.
Yes, because willpower alone is not going to get you very far.
Willpower will last you guys a very short amount of time. It's different from everybody. But if you think that your willpower is going to last you 12 weeks, like, I promise you it won't. It'll last maybe a couple weeks at best.
100%.
Which is unfortunate, because we wish we had the will to just push through anything.
We just don't.
But we have too much temptations around us.
Exactly.
And it's just not a sustainable part. So, guys, recap all of that. We want to either change our activity level, or we want to change the energy that is going into our system through food.
Yep.
You can start to change one of them. I would not recommend you change both of them at the same time. Start with one, and then start to work on the other here. Go for walks. It's so underrated. Get some fresh air. Get some vitamin D. Consider upping your fitness by maybe a day, right? Depending on how many times you're training throughout the week. We have several people who just upgraded their memberships.
Hell yeah, we did.
I think we had 8 people that upgraded, which is so freaking awesome.
That's so cool.
And I'm excited for them. But so there's that part. You got to increase your activity level just a smidge, nothing too crazy. And then if you want to start changing your nutrition, remember, protein is king. You got to be hitting your protein levels, or else you will feel super hungry at the end of the night. You will feel sugar cravings. You will feel under-recovered from your workouts. So make sure you hit those protein levels. The other thing is, maybe you want to start looking for leaner sources of protein.
Right.
You want to start being mindful about your carbohydrate intake and your fat intake. I would recommend, depending on each person again, I would recommend considering lowering your fat intake a little bit and increasing your carbohydrate intake, because you can eat more food that way.
Yeah.
Other thing is eating more whole foods. It's nothing crazy if you do eat processed food, but calories will add up extremely quickly when you eat more processed foods, and in turn won't make you satisfied at the end of the day. So just be mindful about how much processed food you're consuming. And then the last thing, what did I say after that?
I think you covered everything.
Oh, I forgot the vegetable thing. Make sure you're eating loads of vegetables, as much vegetables as you want here.
Go crazy on the veggies.
Eat them all. And be patient. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's actually the real key there.
Yeah. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't try to lose an enormous amount of weight early into this process. This is the long game here, guys.
Trust that this is going to work over time and be sustainable versus some crash diet.
Yeah. And you might be thinking, well, coach, am I always going to have to be in a deficit to maintain that weight? And the answer is absolutely not. Like right now, you're going into a deficit, right? You're trying to lose weight. And then what happens when you lose that weight that you would like to do? Then we can go back into some sort of maintenance. Right? Where you're consuming.
You have to be mindful to not go out the other end.
Exactly, yeah. If your goal is to either maintain your body weight or to lose weight. So be patient with yourself, be kind with yourself, don't rush this process. And yeah, hopefully those tips helped you guys out. Did I miss anything, love?
I feel like we said what we wanted to say.
All right, well then, that means it's time
for the client of the week.
Client of the week.
Pew, 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 pew.
This person has been a member since day one. And she has deserved this for a while. And she's a podcast listener. And she upgraded her membership recently.
Oh my
God. And
that
client of the week is Emma.
Woo! We love you, Emma.
Emma has been a very important member in our community. She always walks in with a smile on her face.
Big smile.
She's always talking to everybody.
I was going to say she's so friendly and welcoming to everyone who walks in the gym as well.
Yeah. She's been really fun to coach, and
her fitness gains are insane.
When we started with her, she was she was coming, like her and Matt were coming periodically, once a week, sometimes twice, and then they got their memberships, and then Emma started
teasing us a little bit.
Emma started coming
to
pretty consistently twice per week, and then over the last few months, she has been coming 3 times per week religiously. 3 times, hasn't missed it.
Wait, is she on Unlimited now?
And now she is unlimited.
Mrs. Unlimited.
Yeah. So her goal is to come 4 times. Her goal is also to do the run club with us on Sundays.
Yes.
Matt was saying that.
See you there, Emma. I'm counting on your presence.
Hell yeah. And Matt was saying that he might want to do the fitness race, the Max Fit course with her.
Oh, that would be so good.
Yeah. So super epic. I'm super pumped.
She has been such a mentor for us too, just on the business side of things. I feel like she's always a person that I can confide in about anything. I really appreciate just her entire presence.
Yeah, she's awesome in our community. So thanks, Emma.
We love you.
Thank you to all of you guys for listening. Hopefully you got some good value. Make sure you leave us a rating and a review, and maybe send this podcast to someone who you think, or maybe you've heard saying that they wanted to lose a little bit of weight for summertime, or just could be any time of the year that they want to lose a little bit of weight.
And don't forget that the link to our GoFundMe is in the description if you would like to help CrossFit Max bring our equipment to the next level.
Evolution 2. All right, guys, have yourselves an awesome rest of your day. We'll catch you in the next one. See ya.
Bye.